Children of Thanos. It was inevitable we would end up here on Titan, discussing the top 10 teams in Marvel Strike Force. And if you're ready to find out who these teams are, put your fingers together and snap. Well, I guess it doesn't work without my gauntlet.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, what is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're ready to count down the top 10 teams in all of Marvel Strike Force. We do this every season, and this is the fall of 2020 edition. I know. It's mid-December. But it's not quite technically winter yet. The winter starts on the 21st of December, so we're getting this fall edition in just on the deadline before winter begins, technically, even though it's very cold and it feels like winter. Now, if this is your first time visiting the channel, guys, I do want to remind you guys to subscribe for more great Marvel Strike Force content. And if you want to get notified as soon as a new video is released, hit that notification bell right there. But before we get into this, guys, I do want to thank everybody that watched this last season's list for summer of 2020. We are in fall now, and it was a very liked video. A lot of people watched it. So if you guys watch this, we'll see the changes. Now, just like with this video, guys, this list is going to be based on a few different areas of the game. First and foremost is Arena, and then we also got the raids. War is also in there, and I've also taken into account the value of some of these characters in PvP and the value of some of these characters in PvP / real-time arena. Now, I almost forgot about that. And the value of these characters in Dark Dimension. Plus, I'm going to give you some Iso-8 recommendations based on what everybody is using for the Iso-8 classes on MSF.gg. But without further ado, guys, let's get to the countdown.
Number 10.
All right, and coming in at number 10, ladies and gentlemen, is the Brotherhood, the 2.0 version of the Brotherhood with Magneto, Blob, Juggernaut, Toad, and Pyro. And these guys are very good in war offense. That is their primary mode that you're going to use this team in. But they do have some use in the raids. I still see once in a while a character like Magneto on arena defense, but primarily you're using this team as a war offense team, guys. And they can take out some of these meta teams on war defense, like the Mercs. They can't punch up against the Mercs, but they can punch down against a weaker Merc team. They could also take out a Fury, Coulson, Shield team if you're still seeing them on war defense. Also, very dominant against the Symbiote. If you happen to see a Symbiote on war defense, which I'm not sure why you would, but these guys are a hard counter to the Symbiotes, which is one of the best teams in the game as we speak. So very, very good. And you also have mutants on this team, which means that they can unlock the legendary character that is on this team of Magneto. So yes, this is a very good war offense team with some use in the raids, some use in arena. But let's go take a look at their Iso-8 recommendations for this team. And this is based on the users of MSF.gg. And this is what people actually have in their characters right now as far as their classes for Iso-8. Toad having the skirmisher tag, 66.9% of users with that skirmisher tag in there. Raider also getting a few users using that Raider class on Toad. Striker, Fortifier, pretty much very, very even with both of these classes, guys. Striker and Fortifier for Juggernaut, 43% of users with that Striker class, 42.8% of users with that Fortifier class. So very, very close. It's kind of a toss-up, whatever, I guess it's based on whatever you need for your Juggernaut. Striker seems to be the dominant class for Pyro, and Blob also having that Striker and some Fortifier class in him as well, and very dominant, 78% of users with that Raider class on Magneto, guys. But very, very good team. Even now in the game, they are still very good, and I still recommend building them up. Maybe not one of your first or second or third or fourth priorities in this game, but once you have some of these other teams that we're going to discuss built, ready to use, Brotherhood is a team I recommend building.
Number 9.
All right, and at number 9 this month is the Wave 1 Avengers. They got a rework since the last time we did this list, and they are a lot better. Captain America, Hulk combo with those taunts, with those healer classes on them looking very, very good. Thor, I think Thor is the best version of this team, and he has a lot of counterattacks from his passives. So you can't attack these guys. You can't attack the Asgardians either, because they are counterattacking. And then very strong synergy with Hawkeye and Black Widow, and they are also a very strong war team. They're very good on war offense and on war defense, and I've seen a few different combos replacing Thor. I use Captain Marvel a lot. I know some people use Shield Trooper. There are a lot of other candidates. Iron Man also fits this bill, and some of these characters also have that shield tag, which means that they're good for unlocking Iron Man. And as far as other game modes, I know Captain America is very, very good once you build him up. So is Black Widow. But as far as PvP, real-time PvP, or real-time arena, I don't really see these characters floating around a lot. And I'm not sure if there's anyone taking these characters into Dark Dimensions. So these lose a little bit there, but still a very, very good team. Very versatile. And I think they're a little better in the raids than we saw from that Brotherhood team, just because it's since the introduction of the Iso-8. And speaking of Iso-8, let's take a look at what are the most popular classes for this team. Now, the basis of this team is Hulk, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Captain America. We will get to Thor in just a little bit when we discuss the Asgardians. So yeah, spoiler alert, guys, the Asgardians are on this top 10 list. But as far as classes, guys, Healer seems to be the dominant classes for Hulk and Captain America. Skirmisher seems to be the dominant class for Hawkeye, gaining 51% of users with that Skirmisher tag. And Black Widow is kind of up for debate. 44.7% of users with that Striker class on Black Widow, and 42% of users having that Skirmisher class on Black Widow. So it's kind of a toss-up what you want to do with Black Widow. I guess it's what you're doing with the rest of this team, but very, very good team. War is primarily where you're using them, but yeah, you're still, if you're in a newer shard, this is probably a very good arena team. If you're a newer player and don't have access to a lot of these higher end teams that we're going to discuss. And then, yeah, raids, they have some survivability as well. So very good all-around team. They're very well-rounded. And, yeah, war offense. That's where you use the Wave 1 Avengers, guys.
Number 8.
All right, and coming in at the number 8 spot this month is the dominant war offense team known as XForce. And they're not versatile. You're not going to see a lot of these characters in other game modes like Arena, like the raids, like Dark Dimension, but this team does one thing very well, and they do it so well that they're on that list, not for their versatility, but because of their dominance on war offense. They could take out a lot of meta teams, guys. They could take out the Marauders. They could take out the normal Marauders. They could take out the Mercs, the Asgardians. I've even seen some screenshots of these guys taking out the Black Order. So as if you want a dominant war offense team, this is the team to do it. If you're looking for a versatile team, though, not going to get you a lot of use, except for maybe one character, and that is X-23. I use her in some of these Greek raids. I think she could be a great backup character if you're running Ultima 7.5 right now. Dark Dimension, I don't know if you want to take in any of these characters. X-23 probably will be very good, but I don't know if she's going to be better than some of the other mutant characters that you may want to take into Dark Dimension. But real-time PvP slash real-time arena is where X-23 is dominant as well. So this team gets a little nod for PvP slash real-time arena because of X-23. And just a very, very good war team, guys. Very good on war offense. It comes down to Negasonic and X-23. You don't really need a very strong Domino, Cable, and Deadpool for this team to work very, very well with some big punch-ups on the war offense. And before we go take a look at their Iso-8s, this team is a very important unlock for one of the better legendary characters, the newest legendary character, Dr. Octopus. So build these characters up. War offense, Dr. Octopus unlock, X-23 is good, but let's go take a look at their Iso-8s, see what the rest of the community is having as far as classes on this team. All right, and as far as Iso-8 classes, this is what the MSF community has on their XForce right now. 71% have that Raider class on Deadpool. 45% have that Raider class also on Domino. I am in this 30% that has that Fortifier class on Domino just because mine's dies so early. I want her to survive a little bit more. Negasonic, 85% of users having that Raider class for Negasonic as well. And I think that's the best class, especially with her opening turn AoE. hopefully getting a lot of targeted on the enemies with that opening move there. Striker seems to be the dominant class for X23, although a lot of people also liking that Raider class for X23 as well. And then Cable, 58% of users having that Striker class on Cable, and that is what everybody has on their XForce right now. If you have some different recommendations, though, let me know in the comments, and let's move on with this countdown.
Number 7.
All right, and coming in at number 7 this season is the Asgardians. They were once one of the scariest, toughest war defense teams, and they are sliding down the list, but they make this list because of pretty much Hela. Hela is dominant in a lot of game modes, or usable in a lot of game modes. Don't really see her too much in Arena, but still is a very good raid character, still is a very good Dark Dimension character, and PvP, that Hela Loki combo is very good in real-time PvP and real-time Arena as well, but war is where they're meant to shine, and that has a lot to do with Greg. And whenever we mention Hela, we cannot forget the undead Asgardian, aka Greg, on this list, and just does a very good opening combo with Loki, with that mind control, applying defense down to the enemy characters, and then Hela with that death knife spreading all of the buffs, or 4 of the buffs, to the enemies as well. So very good team. And the key to this team, I talk about versatility. You need villain mystic controllers to unlock Hela. To unlock Phoenix. There's only 6 of them in the game, which means that you need to either use Hela or Loki, or both of these characters, to unlock Phoenix. So that is one legendary character. Also, this full Asgardian team is the requirement to unlock Black Bolt. So that is a second legendary character that this team is important for. And Black Bolt is the road to Ebony Maw. You need Black Bolt to unlock Ebony Maw. So pretty much 3 legendary characters from this team. Let's go take a look at their Iso-8 classes and see what the majority of the community has on this team right now. And if we look, Hela, Raider seems to be the dominant class for her. 78% of users having that Raider class on her. And it is up in the air for Heimdall, guys. 37% with Striker, 32.8% with Healer. So I guess it is up to you, depending on your situation, depending on the rest of your team, what you want to put on Heimdall here. Skirmisher seems to be the dominant class for Loki. 51.8% of users having that Skirmisher class on him, but Healer not far behind with 37.7% of users with that Healer class. Fortifier for Sif seems to be the way to go, although Healer would not be bad as well because she should have a large health pool. She is a protector here, and Striker seems to be the best class for Thor based on what everybody is using, but Raider getting 20% of users having that Raider class on Thor as well. And the Asgardians, still a very good team, falling down the list as well, but a lot of versatility and a lot of legendary unlocks come through this team. So Asgardians, they're going to be relevant for a long time, guys.
Number 6.
And it is so fitting that the Sinister Six is coming in at number 6 this season, and not just any 6. The Dr. Octopus version of the Sinister Six, because the Sinister Six without Doc Ock is just not the same team. Now we got some charged characters on this list as well. Electro and Swarm recently added or added since the last list. So this team is up there, and they're very good for war. And I'm not war offense, war defense. You could use them on either one. They are a war team. They're very good for war. A lot of it does have to do with Dr. Octopus and the summon that he gets of with this particular team. It's going to be the Shocker giving offense up, Electro doing a lot of damage, Swarm doing a lot of damage, Rhino offering some protection to this team. So very good. And this team, the Dr. Octopus Symbiote team, can counter the Black Order in Arena. And I know some people are still using this team in raids, especially with the healing that Dr. Octopus provides. So you're going to get some survivability on this team, so sustainability with this team because of Dr. Octopus making them a little better. And if Mysterio dies, you have a chance to bring him back to life with one of his clones as well, or mirror images as well. And this is also the road to 2 legendary unlocks. The Sinister Six themselves unlock the Invisible Woman, and any Spider-Verse characters are going to able to unlock Argal, the legendary Shuri. So very important team, not just for what they do in war, not just for the versatility in other game modes. And we're talking about, and when talking about other game modes, I know a lot of people are taking Dr. Octopus in for those city lanes in Dark Dimension. Also, very good picks for PvP. One of the bans that I get is Dr. Octopus, because he is kind of a hard counter to Ebony Maw and Yo-Yo, which are very popular characters in PvP and real-time arena. But let's go take a look at the T4s for this team. So your Sinister Six, your Dr. Octopus version of the Sinister Six, can be even more dominant with the correct Iso-8s. And this is what the majority of users are having on their Sinister Six. Raider is a dominant class for Electro. 80% of users having that Raider class on Electro. 68.9% having that Striker class on Swarm. Fortifier, Striker seems to be a toss-up with Rhino. I'm sure Healer is also in there at some point as well, because as with most tanks. So, but Fortifier seems to be the best way to go with Rhino. At least the most popular way to go with Rhino. Skirmisher, 48% of users electing that Skirmisher tag for Mysterio. And yeah, I don't think it's really close. Healer should be the best tag for Dr. Octopus. And that is the Sinister Six, guys. Still one of the best teams in the game, and the newest, featuring the newest legendary character.
Number 5.
All right, dominating that number 5 spot is the Inhumans. And this is dominated particularly because of two characters, two meta characters, two of the best characters in the game in Black Bolt and Yo-Yo. Gives them that versatility that some of these other teams don't have. And I'm talking in particular about the raids. Black Bolt, Yo-Yo use them in Ultima 7.5 all the time. When I'm autoing my symbiotes and their cooldowns aren't set and it makes the next node very, very hard, well, I take out Scream, I take out Venom, put in Black Bolt, put in Yo-Yo, and they dominate. They do exactly what they should, guys. And also, we're talking about war. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, are shifting the Inhumans or hybrid Inhumans team to war defense. And I'm talking about Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, Crystal, and then Coulson and Fury rounding out that spot. Very, very meta, very, very tricky war defense team as well. And it takes a while to kill this team. So you don't want to save this for last, especially if you're racing against the clock, but very, very good. And obviously Black Bolt's passive is a hard counter to the Red Skull on war defense, is a hard counter to Ultron, and looks to be a hard counter, or at least a counter to Dr. Doom whenever he gets unlocked in Dark Dimension 4. So Black Bolt, still one of the most important characters in the game because of his passive. He also does a lot of damage. If that passive wasn't strong enough, he does a lot of damage, guys. And still see him once in a while in arena. And of course, the Inhumans are the unlock for Ebony Maw. So you're going to need Black Bolt to unlock Ebony Maw, and you're going to need 4 other Inhumans, whether it be these 4 or Miss Marvel can be included in that as well. But you need Black Bolt to unlock Ebony Maw, which makes this team so important. Let's go take a look at what are the best Iso-8 classes as recommended by the community. And Striker, very, very big user base using that Striker class on Black Bolt. 92.5% have that Striker class with Black Bolt. Raider seems to be the most popular class for Crystal. Skirmisher for the Yo-Yo. 80% of users having that Raider class on Quake, and 76.9 have Skirmisher on Karnak, and that seems to be the most popular choices for these Iso-8 classes for the Inhumans, guys.
Number 4.
All right, number 4 this season is the X-Men, one of the most dominant teams in the game for a while now, and I think the most dominant version of this team is going to feature Colossus, Phoenix, and Cyclops. Yes, those are the best, and you can rotate those 2 spots conditionally depending who your opponent is, what mode you're in. But Beast, Storm, and Psylocke, all 3 good characters, and unfortunately, Wolverine does not make it onto the best version of any team unless you got crazy good luck with Red Stars, and he's way higher powered than the rest of your X-Men. But these guys, I still see some Colossus and Phoenix combos on arena defense. Yes, even today, I still see that once in a while. Still very good raid team. Maybe not the best, because when Phoenix dies summoning Dark Phoenix, that counts as a death of Phoenix. So maybe not the best for raids, but I still use them once in a while as a sacrifice team in Ultima 7 and on some of the nodes you can use them in some of these Greek raids as well. But where they're really going to shine is war offense. They are a hard counter to a lot of the meta teams on war offense, guys. And of course, these guys are all mutants, which means you can use them to unlock Magneto if you don't have that character unlocked yet. But very, very good. That Phoenix, that Dark Phoenix form, still very good for Dark Dimension as well, because she does percent-based damage once she goes into that Phoenix form, and that her special, very, very good. And then her ultimate does some big damage, although with the health pools of some of these Dark Dimension enemies, maybe not as dominant as her special is, but still very good. Colossus is her protector as well, so also recommending him on some of these global nodes as well that you could use Phoenix on just to protect him. Maybe not for Dark Dimension 4 because they don't have those legendaries in there, but yeah, still great for Dark Dimension 3 if you have them. And as far as PvP, Phoenix is usually an automatic ban for me, but yeah, she can be very tricky. I know a lot of people are using her in real-time arena because just to help give other people some knockouts that they're trying to build up for their objectives, but yeah, very good in a lot of game modes, guys. Let's take a look at their Iso-8 recommendations from the community, and most of the community has Fortifier on Colossus. I have that same Fortifier class on Colossus. Raider, Striker, kind of a toss-up between these. A majority of users have that Raider class on Cyclops, though. Healer, Beast is the healer, and 73% of users have Healer class on Beast. 51% of users have that Raider class for Storm. I think that's the best one, but Skirmisher, his community seems to like that as well, with 36.8% of users having that Skirmisher tag. And Striker seems to be the best for Phoenix as well. Second place is Skirmisher with 19%. So very, very dominant by that Striker. And this is the classes, guys, that you guys have on your characters right now.
Number 3.
All right, and coming in at number 3 this month is the Marauders. Now, the Marauders without Emma Frost was one of the best teams in the game for a while. But with Emma Frost, number 3, guys, they are very, very good. And that power trio of Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister, and Strife makes it possible for this team to counter a lot of the meta right now. If you guys want to place these guys on war offense and take them off of war defense, but they're meant to be a war defense team, and a very scary war defense team is at that. If you go in with the wrong team or you play it wrong and RNG is not in your favor, especially if Mr. Sinister clones the right person on your team, it could be trouble for you. So very good team, but that power trio of Strife, Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister makes it possible for this team to counter the Black Order. So this team is still viable on arena offense right now. Also viable in the raids. You got some healing from Emma Frost, especially with that healer class. If you have that healer class equipped on her, Mr. Sinister also adds a lot of healing as well, and Strife is getting a lot of barrier. So very good sustainability with this team. I use this team a lot in some of the Greek raids, and Emma, Mr. Sinister, Strife, I use that trio a lot on in Ultimate 7 as well. So a lot of versatility. And as far as PvP and real-time arena goes, Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister, 2 of the top picks in that mode as well. And yeah, I also recommend Emma Frost and Mr. Sinister if you're planning to go into Dark Dimension very soon. These characters will make that global node a little easier. Mr. Sinister, you got to play him right. You got to get a little lucky because he does have some long cooldowns, so maybe not the best character for Dark Dimension 3. But if you've already done other characters, other mutant characters, he is probably one of the top 5 mutant characters that you can take up to Gear 14 and Gear 15. Let's take a look at the ISOs, what everybody has as far as their Marauders, as far as their ISO classes. And Strife, seeming like the best class for him, is the Fortifier with 53.6% users having that Fortifier class. I have the Healer class on him, though, with 39%. Other people also having a Healer class on him. Skirmisher seems to be the best for Mystique with 47.9%. So not that majority, but Raider also very, very close with 38% of users liking that Raider class. Healer seems to be the most popular class for Emma Frost, and that is what I have on my Emma Frost as well. But Striker, also a very good class for Emma Frost. And Healer, it seems to be a no-brainer for Mr. Sinister, guys, with over 90% of you guys having that Healer class on Mr. Sinister. Only 5% with that Fortifier class. And Raider seems to be the dominant class for Sabretooth, guys. And this is one of the best teams in Marvel Strike Force right now.
Number 2.
All right, and I'm having a lot of fun playing with the number 2 team, the Symbiote. And these guys made the list last season with just a 3-man team. And with Anti-Venom, with Scream, this team got even better, propelling them up to the number 2 spot, excuse me, not number 1 yet. Maybe sometime in the future, but not yet this month. But they're very good. This team, a hybrid team, taking out Venom or taking out Carnage. I've seen people do both, and putting in Doc Ock allows you to counter this team on Arena against the Black Order. So one of the best Arena defense teams. You can counter them with the Symbiotes. Also very good in raids. You can pretty much auto Ultimate 7.5 if you have these guys built up enough. There's some nodes that they don't do as well, and RNG can screw you, but if you're having a normal run, these guys can auto through Ultimate 7 up to a certain point. And as far as war, they're a hard counter to the Asgardians because of Greg. They do well against a lot of other teams. If you see a Marauders team on War Defense, the Symbiotes can counter them as well. And of course, because they are Spider-Verse characters, they can unlock the legendary Shuri. But let's talk a little bit about PvP and real-time arena as well. Carnage is a great counter to Hela, so a lot of people take Carnage in there. Symbiote Spider-Man is great in that game mode as well. So is Anti-Venom. Don't see a lot of people picking Venom and Scream, but Anti-Venom, Symbiote Spider-Man, and Carnage are a very, very powerful trio. And as far as dominance in the city lanes of Dark Dimension, this is the most dominant team. If you had, I would place them in this order as far as importance, as far as building them up though. Symbiote Spider-Man first, Carnage second, then Anti-Venom, and then it is a toss-up between Venom and Scream. I probably would go Venom first, but it is so razor thin that is kind of a toss-up between Venom and Scream as far as Dark Dimension. But let's go take a look at their Iso-8. What is the most popular class of characters of Iso-8 for these characters? And Raider seems to be the best for Symbiote Spider-Man. I know a lot of people that just go full healer on all this team, and that helps them a lot for the raids, but Raider seems to be the most popular class for this team. Striker for Anti-Venom, Striker as well for Venom, Skirmisher, 72% of users having Skirmisher on Carnage, and 54% of users having Striker on Scream. So that is the Iso-8 recommendations where everybody has their Iso-8s, but I think yeah, and you can use healer, like I said, if you're really having some struggle surviving in the raids.
Number 1.
All right, and balance is here. The Black Order appearing again at the number 1 spot. I don't know if there's going to be a team for a while that's going to dethrone these guys, especially with what we're seeing coming up. Maybe there would be some counters, but I don't know if there'd be enough counters to really dethrone these guys from the number 1 spot, because they are the number 1 war offense team. They are the number 1 war defense team. They're the number 1 arena offense team. They're the number 1 arena defense team, and they're pretty good in raids as well. So I don't know where you could not use these guys. These guys are dominant all over the place. And if we're talking other game modes as well, let's talk some real-time PvP and real-time arena. Ebony Maw is one of the best characters for that game mode. And if you get an Ebony Maw Thanos combo, your opponents can be in big trouble, because it is very tough getting around a taunt of an unempowered Thanos. And if you got an empowered Thanos, it's very tough getting around that Cull taunt as well. So very, very strong team, very versatile. And as far as Dark Dimension, guys, Ebony Maw is one of those 3 characters that does percent-based damage, along with Phoenix, along with Minerva, and along with Ghost. They all do very, very good with that percent-based damage that they do. Ebony Maw is one of those characters. You're going to want to take him into those legendary nodes in Dark Dimension 4 and in some of those cosmic nodes in Dark Dimension 3. It's very, very good. Thanos is a good pairing as well. Proxima has a little bit of value because of that stun, that turn 1 stun that she has, or not turn 1 stun, but a very early stun that she has available to her. And Cull is just a nasty, nasty tank with all those death proofs that he has. This team is dominant for so long. It is such a shame that this team arrived broken, so we couldn't see their dominance for a few weeks after this team was fully released. And then we all saw how dominant this team was. But let's go take a look at some Iso-8 classes for this team, guys. And Striker is a pretty dominant class for Corvus Glaive. Community seems divided on which seems is the best for Ebony Maw. Skirmisher, 51%. The majority of users have that Skirmisher tag on Ebony Maw, but 45% have a healer on Ebony Maw as well. Thanos, Raider seems to be the best class for him. 56% of you guys have Raider on Thanos. 53% have Striker on Cull Obsidian, although Fortifier and probably Healer are also getting a lot of use for Cull Obsidian as well. And Skirmisher seems to be the best class for Proxima Midnight. So that is it as far as the Iso-8 recommendations for this team. And that is it for this countdown, guys. Let me know what you thought of it. But let's go ahead and talk about some honorable mentions, because there's some good teams that did not quite make this list. And that was a top 10 list, but now it is time for some honorable mentions. And the first one I do want to mention is the Supernatural team. Very good, very versatile. There's a lot of teams that do things better than them, which is why they didn't quite make this list. But Supernatural, very good team. And after you've gotten some of these meta teams out of the way, Supernatural is a team that I highly recommend going back and building. Fantastic Four, they're in a weird spot right now. For war offense, they have Namor. For war defense, they have She-Hulk. And possibly for arena, whenever Dr. Doom comes into the game, then they will have him, whatever game mode they're going to do. So kind of a weird spot, but they are still a very good team. Probably a little better once Dr. Doom comes to the game. But yeah, they do deserve a mention. So do the Young Avengers. They're a very sustainable team. Squirrel Girl adds a lot to that team. I use Captain Marvel on the 5th, but there's a bunch of other 5ths that you could rotate in that 4-man Young Avengers team right now, and they do deserve a mention. So do the Mercs, because they're one of the most dominant war defense teams out there right now, especially with you have some of these teams built up with a lot of red stars on them. Taskmaster has a great kit, and it looks like if you're using that hybrid team with some Wakandans on them, Shuri and Killmonger, looks like they're going to be coming off because Killmonger is going to his own team very soon. But I did want to mention 2 other characters that are kind of one-man teams on their own. The first is Zemo. He could do a lot with just his kit. And then there's Ultron. Now, he does need some other teammates to help him with, but yes, Ultron, the hybrid Ultron teams, they're great for war offense, great for blitz, great for a lot of things. And Ultron, one of the top characters in the game, because he's a one-man army, especially if you let him get all of his bots on the field. But that is it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. Hopefully it's entertaining for you. Let me know what you thought of the actual list. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. If you disagree, let me know what your top 10 teams are in Marvel Strike Force right now. And I will see you guys next time. Check out some of my other videos before you go. And give me a Hulk fist bump, baby. Oh, yeah. ValleyFlyin out.